Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby! Welcome back, everyone, to the podcast / YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. It's me, KJ, and this is my spoiler review for the new Marvel series on Disney Plus, Agatha All Along. This is episode 5, spoiler review. So if you have not seen any of these shows, pause this, give me a thumbs up if you could before you go and watch this show, because that would help my YouTube channel grow. Come back, listen to this spoiler review and any past ones that I have done. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about this show and any Marvel theories you got. I would love to hear it. So, again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Let's get into it. Episode 5 starts off with the Salem sisters, and they are on the road, on the Witch's Road, I should say, and they're very close by the whole gang. And as they're looking to get them, they all panic and they're all trying to figure out how they're going to do this. Teenager makes a suggestion and they say no, but they all decide to cast a spell to ride these big giant roots like a witch's broom. And in this one, it's very interesting. I researched and I couldn't find anything, and I couldn't think of any movies about witches, of course, where they had to do this like ritual dance and switch and trade brooms or something like a tree or a twig or a branch, whatever you can ride a broom like a witch, right? So this was like, to me, this, in my mind, I think this is like the first time I ever seen something like that. So they had to do this thing, create something, switch, and then they can ride it. And it was really fun. They made jokes about it, why they don't do it. It's very like feminism, like, why do we got white brooms? Like, that's so stereotype, right? Like something like that. And which is just so funny. And they're riding it, and Rio was just crazy. She made me laugh how she did her little laugh. But the road decided, nah, you ain't riding this. And it forced them to all calm down, but they're still riding it, and they're still trying to get away from the witches, right? And then they're running and they find their next trail. And it felt like a 80s/90s. And it did feel like Stranger Things. Maybe Hocus Pocus in a bit. And I loved it. That's what I love about that. And they're in this thing, and it seems like this could be Agatha's trial. But I also believe this could have been Rio's trial. But who knows how this played, because in this thing they had to play a Ouija board, and of course they had many rules, and it's the rules if you played with this, and you break one, a spirit will be free. And the first spirit we thought was Mrs. Hart, who passed or possessed in Agatha, but it really wasn't it. Agatha just made it up. But then when they actually got to it, we found out it's Death. Is it Lady Death? This is another version of Death. Who knows? But Death wants to punish Agatha. And the lights go out. Agatha gets possessed, and she looks like an exorcism. And she's up on the ceiling in the corner, and she looks spooky. I tell you what, before I keep going, this whole episode is definitely a horror film feel like. It felt like a slasher film in this episode. That's what it felt like to me, and I love it because there was a lot. It was spooky. It scared me. And I even popped a little bit for it, so it got me. It got me. I'll admit to that. And so we see this ghost, and it's Agatha's mom. And Agatha's mother said, like, everybody else can leave, go on this thing, finish the witch's road, but the punishment is Agatha has to stay behind and be with the mom, and that's punishment. And everybody was kind of doing it, but Allison was and teenager, they were like, no, we can't do this. And Rio was like that too. And you know what's interesting? Rio felt like she knew the actual truth behind why this. And in the beginning of this episode, they explained that, Agatha is the reason why these Salem sister witches, because she absorbed all their witches' power, and now they're out together because this was somewhat her original covenant, and her mom was one of them. But they this one got really serious and deep because Agatha's ghost of a mom said these horrible things like, I should have killed you as soon as you came out my womb. As soon as she was born, basically killed her, and because she was just born evil, and that really hurt her, and it really hurt Rio. Like, there's something much deeper about this, and I'll just say it now. I think just because Rio and Agatha have a history together, like they were once lovers, it seemed implied. I'm just gonna say that maybe that's what Agatha's mother meant when she said that harsh comment. And it really just sucks to hear that. And but that's really the reality. And what's interesting too, bring that up, this show can make you feel sorry for her, but it can also make you be against her and be mad at her, like, man, Agatha, you did this, like, right? And it kind of does this in this episode. You're kind of seeing it, and it's very cool and interesting. Like, she can become the villain, but she also has a softer side. But she's also guilty of it, but sometimes she's not guilty of what the choices she's made in her life so far. And again, these witches have lived a very long time. So they've been through some stuff. They've done a lot of stuff. And Agatha really shows that in this episode. So then Agatha's mom repossesses her and starts spooking everybody out. And Teenager says the name Nicholas Scratch, which is very interesting. That is an official Marvel character. He's a pretty badass guy. And he then moves that piece from the Ouija board and puts it on goodbye. So I don't know if that's his dad or Agatha's woman or ex-boyfriend. It could be Rio's ex-boyfriend. It could be whoever, right? There's a lot going on. There's a big mystery to this, and it all connects to him. And obviously this connects to Wanda in a lot of ways, which we'll get to. Hold on. And you know what's interesting too? The staircase opens and it's going up. I don't know if this means anything significantly, but episodes 1 through 4, all the next trials, the next steps or path have all gone down. The first one has gone up in this season so far. So I don't know if that means anything, but when they went outside, right, it seemed kind of like light, and it had a different color filter over the screen, and it reminded me of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, when he was looking for Wanda in the Dark Book, and you know how it looked like she was outside picking apples, and then all of a sudden it was red. It was something like this, but this one was like, you know what? Honestly, it reminded me of the Afterlife with the Soul Stone. That it had that type of shade and type of feel to it, which is very interesting in that as well, because that tells me personally, the Witch's Road is like an afterlife in the sense. Like, look at Moon Knight, look at the Soul Stones, Afterlife with Endgame and Infinity War. And then look at I did that. Shang-Chi, A Different Realm. So it just seems like there's a realm of a realm within this universe in this time life, Earth 616. So there's something. I feel like this is all going to connect in a way. They're building something up, because with that, this also in a way reference the Midnight Sun group. It's another Avengers group. And to see Agatha part of that, that'd be kind of badass in a sense of it. But again, they reference that, and it seemed like there was a mutant reference, a reference to the mutants, to the X-Men, Deadpool, Wolverine, and I'll get to that later. And so when they're outside of this home, you know, it shows where, because you gotta remember, before they left, the reason why everybody's not really teenagers mad at her now is because she absorbed Allison's power, and it seemed like it killed her, or she's dead or gone, whatever you want to use. And he's really mad because, you know, he was telling you should have done this. Like, why would you do that? We're all trying to help you. And then something about this happened. I don't know what, but Agatha's personality just switched, and she's like, "You're just like your mother." And his eyes turned blue, his power started turning blue, and then whatever he did, he made the other Jennifer and Lillian grab Agatha, and they threw her into the ground where it absorbs you. And then he threw the other women into the ground, and they absorbed her, but Rio didn't get into that, which that's very interesting. I think she stayed in that house. And I don't know if he meant that or he was just angry and he couldn't control his power, but in this way, this really confirms that Teenager is actually none other than Billy Maximoff or Kaplan or Whitcomb, which is a West Coast Avengers. And I think this is the final review. I knew about it because of the Funko Pops leak, but I didn't want to bring it up until I knew. But it's not really technically confirmed too, but all evidence point at this, that this is Wanda's son. And I think this is it. I think this is the big reveal, because this one was a shorter episode, but it left this with the cliffhanger of Billy doing this, or I'll just say Teenager for now until Marvel actually officially says it. But Teenager did all that, and that's how that episode ends. So now let's get on the first topic. Let's talk about if Teenager is actually Wanda's son, and if he's any of these versions of Billy. Now, what's the difference between Billy Maximoff and Billy Kaplan? Well, in the comic books, the idea is this is like part of Mephisto's soul, and he took him back. But what Wanda did was take pieces of her two sons' souls and spread them around the multiverse to have different variants of this. Now, keep in mind, in the WandaVision show, we thought that Wanda's brother was back and alive, and this was the brother from the Fox universe, the X-Men. And then it was just some guy in the neighborhood named Boner, or Boomer, I forget. But it could be a letdown like that, but I feel like they shouldn't. I feel like at this point, at this time where the cinematic universe of Marvel is at, they might as well just reveal it, because what else are they waiting for this? Like, is this Wanda's son or not? Is this Agatha's son, or is this Rio's son? You know, who is this boy's mother? But me personally, in my heart, this should be the actual main variant for this universe of the MCU, Earth 616. To me, in my heart, I want it to be Billy Maximoff. But I also, if I look at a logical way in the screenwriting way, I don't think this is anybody's kid. I just think that all that magic that happened in Westview, he thinks he's that kid. He thinks under a spell. I think he believes he's the son of one of these three women, whether it's Wanda, Agatha, or Rio, because who knows? It's still a mystery. Now, Billy Kaplan, in that one, the comic book, I forget which comic book, but basically, again, everybody, their souls got separated and placed in different multiverse, which leads to a reincarnation. So a whole different family had a child, and that soul went into that multiverse in that universe and became that child in that universe. And so that child was raised by different parents, not Wanda, and they weren't even magic, I don't believe. So there's a lot going on with this. But at this point, to me, by episode 7, they should at least have something. They should at least finally review and confirm who is this guy, who is this teenager. And I think that's the most important thing to do with that. But if I want to guess, if I'm just going to go with it, I know I'm going to be wrong. This is Wanda's son. That's what I'm going to go with. Now, let's talk about Agatha and Rio with that. I think they had a adopted son at some point, some centuries ago. I think that's what Agatha did, and I think that's what Rio had to do because she works for Mephisto. Because if she's Lady Death, like Lady Death that Thanos fell in love and he was willing to snap half the universe in comic book wise, then that makes sense. Like, that's what her job is to do, is take souls and bring them back to Mephisto. Or sometimes there's been reference that she brings the bodies to him, but there's different variants of comic books of this particular story about Rio, Lady Death, Mephisto, Agatha, Wanda, of course, but and this is where the mutant idea, like, they represents the mutants reference, or to make it more clear, the X-Men reference. So we know in comic books, Wanda's a mutant. We know her dad is Magneto. So maybe Billy, in this moment, because in comic books, the way a mutant ability kicks in is by something that affects them. They're in a high tense, they feel the pressure, and that's where it kicks in. Like a trauma or something bad. They had a bad experience and it kicks in, like life or death situation. So it's one of those that I believe that can make him have his mutant powers kick in. Because you don't know you're a mutant until it kicks in through genetics, basically. Like, something has to happen to you for it to be activated. Like, again, a trauma, something scares, life or death. You know, your emotions, like being angry at it, really juices it up, basically, too. So it's one of those. So that's what I think, too. I think this is a mutant, because now we have the mutants in the MCU. So now you can reveal who's that and who's not, basically. But that's the reference I got of that scene, too, because we saw the little crown on teenagers' heads, aka Billy, if it's still that. And it's like Wanda's, but his was blue. So it's there. I can't wait to see it. And I feel like, really, honestly, this season, they should just reveal it again. I just want to make that clear. I'm hoping that Marvel just reveals it in this show on this season. Like, I hope we don't have to wait for a film. Like let's say they decide to make a film about Wanda. She gets her first solo film in the next phase of Marvel. I hope they don't push it that far, because that's gonna take some 3 years to even get to that film. You know, just they're gonna announce it, Then they're gonna have to start doing shoots. And then you got to do the reshoots, and then that next year they'll have the trailer drop, and then you gotta wait. But that's too long. They might as well just reveal it now in this season. So that's where I'm hoping. And that's where I feel like that's the thing to go with it. So that's just my opinion on that. But other than that, I love this episode. Again, I love it. It felt like a horror slasher film in a sense. Like there were some people out to get them. They're about to get shanked, destroyed. It was scary. They turn into animals. That, ghosts. It was like the Agatha's mom reminded me of Casper the Friendly Ghost, how they appear. But, it's different now. But it was really cool to see that, and I love the background. I love the scenery in this. It really is a Halloween theme, so I'm loving it. And I had to give this an episode 1 out of 10. I'm definitely giving it a 10. I love it. So that's my review, y'all. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment Official Channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace out.